Hello, MavMind Collective, and welcome to another episode of the Hypnosales Show. Today, we're going to be talking about understanding the pain scale rating. This is a very simple technique. I've taught this to a lot of sales reps, a lot of SEs and solution engineers and professional services folks, customer success folks. It's a very successful technique, very simple, but you do have to practice with it to master it. And you have to understand the underlying principles for this to really work to your advantage. And the idea is it's a very simple, you have a pain scale rating where 10 is the highest level pain that someone could possibly have within a company, within a team, within an organization. And 1 is basically there's no pain at all. It's like a paper cut. So I like to say this is a paper cut and this is your throat's cut, is what I like to say. It's like it's that drastically different, 1 to 10. Okay. So I use this pain scale rating to basically get a logical number to associate with the pain that they have. So I can use that number to my advantage as we progress through the engagement with the client or the prospect. Okay, pre-sale or post-sale, doesn't matter. There's always a pain somewhere and you're trying to rate it to use that number as you go through. And I'll show you how this works to take advantage of this idea of this logical number to identify the pain. So I'm going to tell you a story I had with a client one time. I was talking to my client. I was in discovery mode. I was trying to figure out this use case that they wanted to use our product for, and I was really wanting to understand the pain. And I said, could you describe the pain to me a little bit more detail? Give me a little bit more detail and help me understand a little bit more what you mean when you say that you're having a lot of pain within your team, within your organization. And they started to do this. They said, oh my goodness, Maverick, you have no idea how painful this is. I don't even know where to start. Let me start with, X is happening and then Y is happening and then we're doing this. It's causing Z to happen and then A is happening and then we end up having to do B all the time, and B is a big pain also. That's adding to the pain. And then don't even ask me about this C situation that's going on and this D thing over here that's happening. Oh my goodness, it's just all compounding on each other and it's just horrible and it's so painful. And we also are anticipating this new thing that's going to happen within the next few months. And oh my goodness, Maverick, if this new thing happens, it's like W, X, Y, Z, B, P, and R and S. And it's just so much, too much. It's overwhelming. And then we just don't even want to think about what's coming a couple months from now, given the pain that we're in right now and that pain that's coming in. So in other words, they're telling me about these horrible situations, not even one, but multiple situations. And I can't believe all the stuff that they're talking about and how bad this is. This situation is really bad. And I'm just like, wow. And in my mind, I'm logically assigning a number to how painful this is. And I'm automatically making it a 10 in my mind logically. So that's what the L is. This is logical and this is emotional, right? Logically, I'm saying it's a 10 in my mind because that's what I'm hearing. And then I ask them the question. I say, hey, okay, so where would you rate this pain or all the set of pains that you're describing here on a scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is very insignificant and 10 is like the worst pain ever? Where would you put it? Now, I'm expecting them to rate it here too. I'm expecting them to say right like that, okay? But instead, you know what this customer told me? They said, it's like a 4. It's like that. That's what they said. And I was like, a 4? Like, I couldn't believe it. After all of that they described, I'm like, how can that not be a 10? Like in my mind, logically, because of how they're describing it. And I said, so of course, when they gave me the 4 rating, I said, 4, okay. Well, do you have any other pains that you would describe as a 9 or a 10? Do you have any other pains that are worse than that? And this is what they said. Oh, Maverick, you have no idea how much 9 or 10 kind of pains we have. Let me tell you about those pains. Okay, so we have this other situation in this other department that's causing a lot of pain, and that's like an 8 or 9. And he starts to describe to me these other pains that he describes in the same way that he described the first set of pains. Okay, he describes in the same way. Oh my goodness, Maverick, you have no idea. It's so totally like the world's coming to an end. But when I asked him to rate it, he would rate those as a 9 or 10, like up here. So why did he rate the first one 4? And why did I not know that? Why did I think it was a 10? Because logically, I'm listening to his emotional response, right? When I'm in the state of discovery and I'm listening to him describe emotionally this pain, all of us describe pain emotionally pretty much the same way. Everything is painful emotionally. So, of course, I'm always going to assume based on what he's describing, I'm going to assume logically that must be a 10. But it's not until I ask them to rate it and to put a logical number on it, and they have to go over on their logical side and they have to say it's logically, I would say it's a 4. So they have to prioritize it. So that means they have other emotional pains, but they logically would rate those higher. And that's why I asked this question, and that's why this technique works so well, because I never assume that it's always a 10. I don't assume that it's here. I have them rate it, they put it here, and then now I say, okay, do you have anything that's higher than that? Do you have something that's up here? And then they say, yes, logically there's another one that's like a 9. Let me tell you about that. So I let the number govern what the priority is, not how I'm receiving it, not my assumption based on the emotional way that they're describing the pain. So it helps me avoid that assumption that I could be making based and getting happy ears and thinking, wow, this must be really bad. They were totally going to buy my product because I'm totally going to solve this problem for them. But I want to make sure I'm solving the right problem at the right time. Because if they rate it as a 4, do you think they're going to be compelled to buy your product and spend money right now compared to, if you were to address their 9 or 10 and propose your product or service for the 9 or 10 first? You probably want to find out what the 9 or 10 is first. So that's why you ask this question. Okay, so the way that you use this is you let them describe the pain, you ask them to describe it, and then you ask them to rate it. If they rate it down here, then like I was showing before, you ask, do you have a 9 or 10 up here that you can describe? And if they say, not really, this is the highest pain that we have right now. So if this is the only one, probably not going to be compelled or sense of urgency to like do anything about it, right? They're probably used to the pain already. Subconsciously, they're just getting used to it and they want to keep it around. So they're not going to, they don't want to give a high rating because they really don't want to get rid of that pain. At least they're not compelled or motivated right now to do that. If they decide to give you one and they say, well, we have logical 9 or 10 up here, that's the one you want to address. And you want to make sure your product or service addresses that pain that will motivate them. Now, let's go back to here and let's start over. And let's say you ask them to rate the pain that they've described, and they emotionally, they say logically it's a 10. Okay. Now you can ask this other question. Does your boss or does your team feel it's a 10 also? Does your boss or team feel it's a 10 also? Or would you say that they would rate it less than a 10? And if they say, well, my boss would probably rate this a 4. Okay. So now you know that their boss or their team doesn't feel the sense of urgency or the pain is logically as high as this person you're talking to. So now you can ask, okay, does your boss or team, do they have something they would rate as a 9 or 10? Because I'm not really paid to work on like a 3 or 4. Like I'm not really supposed to be spending my time on a 3 or 4 idea if not everyone is in agreement that this is a 9 or 10. So what do they want? So then the person might say, oh, they think this other pain that they have is a 9 or 10. You might want, let's go talk to them. Or you might ask, can we go talk to your boss? Can we go talk to your team? So this is where you can kind of figure out, does everyone agree that it's a 10, or is it just this one person or this other person over here? My champion thinks it, but nobody else does. I don't want them championing a 10 for them and a 4 for everybody else, because then I won't get the support I need for them to purchase my product or service. I need everyone up here in a 9 or 10. So this is the beauty of having them convert it from an emotional response to a logical response, from an emotional description to a logical number, so you can use this number to your advantage. Now, here's the other way you can use this very effectively is, let's say in the beginning of your engagement with the process, they're rating something as a 9 or 10. You should write this down and put it into your notes, put it into your CRM that they've rated it at a 9 or 10. I would encourage you to do this. Have you and your whole team, if you have a team of salespeople or SEs or whatever, always get the rating and put it in your notes. And then the next time you meet with them, start out your meeting by reminding them of the pain scale rating that they gave. Okay, remind them. And here's why. If I start my next meeting and I say, hey, last time you rated this pain that we're solving with our product or service solution that we're proposing here, that you're going to buy this product for, this service for, you were going to solve this problem. You were rating it at a 9 or 10. Are you still thinking it's a 9 or 10 right now? And the reason I ask that is because if a week goes by, there's a good chance, could be a good chance, that there's a new pain that's taken over priority-wise, and what you were talking about solving before is now something they would rate down as a 5. And you want to know that as you go along. You want to always confirm that you're always in a 9 or 10 area. You never want to be caught, finding out that something's a 5 or a 3, and then you just missed a whole opportunity to find the new thing that's going to motivate them even faster, a faster sense of urgency that comes about because a new pain, a new fire broke out figuratively within the organization that you could address with your product or service that you just didn't know about because you're still assuming that we're still on track with this 9 or 10 you gave me last week or 2 weeks ago. So every time you meet with them, you always want to confirm, hey, before we start, are we still at a 9 or 10 on this pain? Yes or no? And you always want them saying, yes, we are. We don't keep going. It's a 10, it's 11, it's 12, it's going up and up. That's your ideal situation. When it starts to go down, well, actually, it's actually gone down. I've had this happen to me where I've asked them and then, oh, it's gone. I'll say, okay, well, what's the new 9 or 10? Oh, we have this other problem that's going on over here. Okay, well, let's talk about how our product can help with that. Or maybe I need to push this out a quarter. Maybe I can't forecast this opportunity right now because maybe what they're proposing as a 9 or 10, my product doesn't address. And I need to know that right now so I don't continue to forecast it thinking they're going to buy right now. If it's not high in their priority, if it's not a logical 9 or 10, they're less likely, if they keep pushing this down, they're less likely to purchase my product right now. They might still purchase it, just not right now. So it helps me manage my pipeline, manage my opportunities, by using this rating and always holding my customer and my prospect accountable for where we are logically and where I think it is and where they think it is and are we still on track or not. And so this is a very effective technique. I'm really glad I got to share it with you. I'm very excited, as you can tell, and I know you're going to use this technique. You're going to try it. You're going to start asking your prospects and customers to rate the pain, and you're going to be surprised in a couple of cases. I already can tell because I'm always, even now, I'm still surprised when they give me a different number than what I'm expecting because I'm assuming wrong, incorrectly, but they always correct me and they always let me know where they're at logically because I always want to have the logical part of their brain working, not the emotional part of their brain giving me happy ears. And I can avoid the happy ear syndrome and I can always stay on track towards qualifying and figuring out which opportunities are going to close this quarter, which ones are going to close next, or which ones may not close at all. Maybe it's no longer something I should have in my pipeline at all. And you want to know that as soon as you can. And this technique will give you a way to do that. Thank you for watching. I know you find value in these videos, didn't you? So if you like me or in a customer-facing role, I'm wondering if you want to watch another video now, all designed to help you get better at what you do every day. Or not. You don't have to watch another video if you don't want to.